All right, in this video, I'm going to break down one of the most common objections that you will likely get on a sales call, and that is anything around where they are trying to delay making the decision. So, hey, I don't make rash decisions on calls. I don't decide on the first call. I just really need to think about it because when they give you that first, I need to think about it, that is usually just a smoke screen of like, there's something else going on there, right? So pretty straightforward of like, hey, like, just let me know, like when you go to think about this, what would criteria would you actually be thinking through to make a decision? Because it's very likely you can handle that right then and there and then sidestep to another objection. But let's say you've already done that and now they're really like, you know what, I just really don't make rash decisions. I really just want to sleep on it. I don't want to make an emotional decision. Any variation of that, we're going to break down in more detail here. Now, if you want a copy of this objection handling map, I've laid this out where it handles some of the most common logistical objections around money, partner, delay, any of those variations, as well as some of the fear objections that you will get on call. So just drop the comment map below and I'll send you a link where you can download this, you can check it out and use it for yourself and hopefully go make some money with it. But in terms of this one specific objection, like always, and if you've seen any of my other objection handling videos, what you want to do first is always sidestep the objection. So like, hey, I just really need to think about it. So hey, like that aside, like no worries, you can always get back to me later, but do you think this could be the answer for you? Okay, why? They'll explain what they think why it's the answer for them. Okay, well, why that part specifically? Got it. All right, so now we're going to go down and they've already kind of explained to themselves why they would do it. So now we're into the delay, right? So hey, I don't make rash decisions, any of those versions. And so I always start with some rationale and hopefully understand, where they're coming from. So, hey, I totally get it, right? Timing is everything. So can you explain like what might come up a little bit later for you that would make that a better time to start? Okay, got it. Let them explain to you their stance, right? Well, would you do it if it were free? Like right now, would you, instead of delaying, would you do it right this second if it were free? Okay, well, why for you specifically? And now it's not about why they would do the program or the service or whatever you sell because of what it is, but what it would do for them. Now they're starting to attach emotionally the outcomes they want for themselves from what you provide, not just the deliverables or the things you actually do for them. And so, can you help me understand maybe the rationale behind, why you'd want to push off this decision if, like you said, if you don't do something about this, you're very likely to have to, you potentially go out of business. You'll keep losing customers. Whatever they said, their consequences are. And then, hey, can I be like just direct with you? There is never going to be a perfect time. And can I explain why? Got you. And now I'm going to go into the reframe, right? This is flawed decision making where there's some level of poor decision making that they have made that has landed them on this call. People were good at making decisions around this thing that they're on the call with you with. They already have the outcome, but they aren't. So they need help understanding how to change their decision making process around that. And so I always like to kind of start with this, anecdote around like, hey, do you know the opposite of action is actually, it's not inaction, it's delay. It's just waiting for the perfect time, which is what most people do. Because if you ever heard, that saying, new year, new me, there's a reason why January 1st is the busiest day of the year at the gym, because everyone is waiting for the perfect time to do something, right? Every good diet starts on a Monday. And so what you were doing before New Year's Day and before that Monday when you're starting, whatever the thing is for you, what you're doing is moving further away from your goals instead of actually taking the necessary action to get where you want to go. So then something else that I kind of do depending on whether or not I have this answer. So like, help me understand, like, I know you don't want to necessarily commit right now, but what have you committed to in terms of this type of service, product, program over the past few months, past few years? Again, you should have already got this to come up from them. And if you know it's nothing, you ask this because like, hey, so it's not a matter of committing on this call. It's a matter of what you've been not committing to or avoiding or delaying for the last few months and a few years. So help me understand, like, why not play offense? Why do you need to go on defense and think about it and delay when you know that this is right for you because of XYZ reason? Okay, and can I ask you maybe a little bit of a blunt question here? Is this normally kind of how you make decisions? You need to think about it, you need to sleep on it, etc. Okay, and Are you 100% happy with where your business is at? Be really real with me. So help me then understand, like, why let that decision making process potentially dictate your future results? If it's gotten you to a place you're not happy with, don't you think that if you made different decisions and you acted on the things could help right now, that you would get different outcomes and you'd put yourself in a better position? You would, right? And now we're going to go into the best position, right? So this is now associating them and this decision that they will make and need to make for themselves with successful people who are already your clients. So, hey, the most successful people that I know in this program, already making 50K, 100K a month, who were in your shoes, who took that action despite wanting to kind of wait and think about it. Why do you feel that they did that? So this is called like putting a straw man out in the field, where we get to throw rocks at that straw man and discuss that guy, that girl, instead of them directly. And it makes it easier to have this conversation. So I guess, like, why do you feel that they did that? And let them explain to you why a person who wanted to delay but made the decision, why they would do that. And this will allow them to put themselves in the shoes of someone who does take action, who does make quick decisions when they know something can help them. And I guess, just so we're clear, like, help me understand what separates you, like, right now from being at like 10K a month and you at 50K a month. Like, what's the difference? Okay, so what would that version of yourself do right here, right now, to get where they want to go? Are you ready to hold that type of responsibility though? Or would you prefer to just, stay in your comfort zone and risk, life getting in the way of what you want? Okay, so what are you going to do here? And then one additional reframe that's not here that I may use depending on the context of the conversation is ask them how often they get that objection when they're doing sales. Like, hey, do you ever have a customer tell you, oh, I just really need to think about it? And how often does that work for you? And they'll give me, like, out of 10 times, like, how many people do you close? And they'll give me a random number. And like, okay, so like the numbers game, right? Shout out Jeremy Miner for this frame. And, the idea around this is, well, do you want to keep playing the numbers game, or do you want to be able to help your prospects overcome that objection? Because in order to help them overcome this objection for themselves, you have to be able to do it for yourself first. We can't do for others what we can't do for ourselves. So if you know this is right for you and you know this is the right investment and you want to be able to help other people overcome this and stop playing the numbers game, what do you need to do right now in order to put yourself in the best possible position? And then we're going to loop back to the sale and obviously make that ask. Now, for every objection, I always like to have them recommit and then return, loop back to sale. So you know what you've got to do here, but are you actually willing to do it? Why not just keep doing more of the same? Why are you committed to doing this? Okay, so what do you feel like you have to do to put yourself in the best possible position then to get to $50,000 a month right here today? And these are the frames that can kind of walk them through understanding that there is no delay. Like, if it's right for them, unless they have a really, really legitimate reason. So a couple might be like, hey, they're taking a long-winded vacation, or they have some, family challenges that are going to come up soon. And in that case, what I would angle for is either the initial payment, then pause the start date, or a large deposit towards the initial payment and then setting a follow-up. So those are the two routes that I would take. But yeah, this is essentially the delay objection and kind of how you can walk someone through that. Hopefully it's helpful for you. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button. It'll help us reach more people. And again, if you want a copy of this entire objection handling map, just go ahead and comment map below, and we will send a copy of this to you. I'll see you on the other side.